Hello all and welcome to the first edition of I Have a Question for You 2022. My name is Isabel Martinez Fabregas and I'm very happy to accompany you again for one more year on I Have a Question for You. This year, we will dedicate this space to learn more about how we are contributing to make urban mobility a reality from a policy, citizen and innovation perspective. We will also deep dive more into some of the products developed either by our projects or supported startups under the brand EIT Urban Mobility, and of course, we will showcase the academic courses in urban mobility available for all levels under urban mobility solutions offered in our marketplace. On this first edition, we will focus on the topic of digitalization of urban mobility. Did you know that digitalization is one of the priorities of the European Commission at all levels? Digitalization and data sharing are crucial enablers of sustainable mobility transformation. Data from diverse sources, including different modes of transportation, are central to the future of urban mobility. But how is interoperability connecting systems and boosting urban mobility to make more liveable cities?
Fa anys van començar connectant persones, primer amb el telègraf òptic, telègraf elèctric, després vam anar a connectar les persones a través del telèfon normal, analògic, el vam passar a digital i una vegada vam tenir la veu connectada, vam dir, bueno, ara hem de connectar dades i vam ficar les dades el que és en el telèfon, vam connectar persones, vam connectar cases i ara finalment estem connectant coses i les coses més importants que estem connectant és el cotxe. Una altra de les millores que aporta el que és els enginyers en general, els enginyers de telecomunicacions especialment, és la possibilitat de connectar el que és qualsevol cosa que estigui en qualsevol lloc, o sigui, relacionar el que és la ubicació en un lloc geogràfic i això, posar-li una intel·ligència allà darrere, que el que pot permetre és el que ja està operatiu, que és la logística que tenen moltes empreses, que és que permeten que si tenen que repartir uns determinats número de paquets, en funció d'allà on van els paquets, ja hem dissenyat apps i aplicacions actualment que algú les ha de gestionar, algú les ha de portar, i hi ha persones allà darrere que estan comprovant contínuament que allò funciona. Dintre del col·lectiu d'enginyers de telecomunicacions, el que fan és que programen quina és la millor ruta per anar a fer el reparto i d'aquesta manera s'ha aconseguit optimitzar molt i tornar molt més eficients el que són les empreses de reparto.
To learn more about this topic, I'd like to welcome our panel of experts from the EIT Urban Mobility. Luana Bidasca, our EU Affairs Manager. Welcome.
Hi, Isabel. Great to be here.
Delia Mitcan, our Innovation Lifecycle Manager. Welcome as well.
Hello, Isabel. Thank you very much for the invitation.
And finally, Julienne Chen, our Citizen Engagement Manager. Welcome.
Hello, it's great to be here.
From the EIT Urban Mobility, we are contributing to digitalize urban mobility to make it more efficient. While it can increase efficiency, digitalization can also pose some challenges, especially when it dramatically changes the routines and behaviors that people are already used to. How are we taking citizens' needs into consideration to improve urban mobility, Julienne?
Thanks, Jezebel. So, as you know, urban mobility is deeply intertwined with people's quality of life. It's about how people move around their city, how they access housing, jobs, goods, services, how they meet friends and family. So it's really essential that people are at the heart of the conversation whenever we talk about urban mobility. Since we're focused on digitalization in this vlog, I'm happy to highlight a couple of the things that we're working on in this area. So first of all, we have several social impact projects that are looking specifically at how we integrate people's voices into urban mobility solutions. So for instance, we have the UMCASE project, which is working with older populations to design more accessible digital technologies for all populations. And whenever I see a new digital tool, I always ask, would someone's grandparent feel comfortable using this? And that's such a critical component of widespread adoption, that people not only know what a digital tool is, but that it's easy enough to use and adopt into their daily flow. We also see a lot of potential in digital tools that allow government agencies to engage with people in new and interesting ways. So from identifying local mobility needs to helping people to visualize and interact with new transportation projects. And these digital tools and apps are bringing these conversations into people's homes, to their computers, to their smartphones, and really meeting them and getting input from where they are. So these are also examples of the types of projects that we're supporting under our citizen engagement track. And then finally, we have several tactical urbanism projects in our portfolio. And tactical urbanism is very exciting because it allows cities and companies to really quickly test out new concepts. For instance, new types of street infrastructure, and get feedback from people in real world environments. So as you know, given how rapidly the world is changing these days, it's really critical that we support this very agile form of development, to try something quickly, to gather feedback, and then continue to iterate and improve. And that's really why we're so invested in citizen engagement, is because of this power that it holds to support the responsive, flexible, and lasting mobility solutions that we need to truly improve people's quality of life.
Thanks a lot, Julienne. There is another actor playing a crucial role in all this: policy. What are the main priorities of the European Commission policies regarding the digitalization of urban mobility, and how are we integrating them in our initiatives, Luana?
That's a great question, Jezebel. Actually, sustainable and efficient transport are really the two complementary objectives on the European agenda right now in order to become the first climate neutral continent by 2050. So with this in mind, another question I would add to the conversation is, how can digitalization help us to curb the emissions in urban areas? And first and foremost, understanding how people move around can really help planners create the right incentives for different ways of traveling, for integrating new services, for making public transport more attractive, more efficient, or simply manage a congestion charge zone. And to come back to your question about what is going on at the EU level to support this, well, quite a lot, in fact, as policymakers are well aware of the needs for common standards, for protocols for sharing at local level, but also for cross-border travel and services. And one key supportive action is to allocate funds, like the projects under the Connecting Europe facility on ITS, or through the Digital Europe program for projects on digital twins, or experimentations with urban data platforms. But it is also necessary to bring practitioners and member states together to find common ground for new legislation. And on that, it was announced already last year that the European Commission will come with new legislation by the end of this year on the provision and use of data for mobility services. And complementary to that, the EU will also work on a common European mobility data space to facilitate access to and sharing of mobility data, including for cities. So from our side, the EIT has really geared our entire ecosystem to deliver exactly on this: more livable cities and sustainable urban transport powered by innovation. Julienne has already touched upon some brilliant smart solutions, and I know Delia will also expand a bit on the project side. So I will only plug in the AI report that we published last year, where we really outline the most robust business models for artificial intelligence applications and give some recommendations on how public authorities can make use of the vast amount of data being available right now.
Thanks a lot, Luana. A lot to consider in this regard as well, indeed. So we have the needs from the citizens and the legal policy frame to develop actions for the digitalization of urban mobility. Matching these two previous points in the projects and solutions and initiatives we are developing and support seems another big challenge itself. Delia, where are we putting our focus from EIT Urban Mobility?
Yes, thank you very much, Jezebel, for the question. So we are focusing on different topics within EIT Urban Mobility, and one of them is future mobility, which relates particularly to digitalization. Adding on what just Julienne and Luana stated, I would say that with digitalization, we show the citizens that there are other options in the urban areas to be used than the usage of private cars, for example. There are apps being developed which help the users making a decision on how to travel based on their own preferences. For example, to choose an active mode of transport like cycling and walking, a sustainable and comfortable one, the public transport, or choosing a route which is less polluted despite the fact that it might be a bit longer. So using digital solutions, we create awareness about other ways of getting from A to B. Last year, we contributed to the Code the Street project, which is about nudging the private car drivers to take more societal routes than the shorter and the faster ones. For example, avoiding busy school areas in the morning and in the afternoon, or avoiding sensitive old city center areas in 2 pilots where this project was run in Amsterdam and in Helsinki. It is possible by using the data from the cities and integrating it with the products of different service providers and communicating it to the users. Another project is Smart Hub. By analyzing data, city data and mobility providers' data, the partners aim to find the best locations and the optimal multimodal transport offer available to develop a smart hub. Local authorities and different mobility service providers, with participation of citizens, are testing and using shared mobility modes as other ways of getting around cities. So, based on data collecting and data sharing, the best decisions are taken to facilitate the development of hubs, aiming to reduce the pressure on our urban environment.
Thanks a lot, Delia. So, Delia Mitcan, Luana Bidasca, and Julienne Chen, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invitation.
As mentioned in our panel, citizens are at the core of all our activities, and since last November, cities have a repository of solutions available in our marketplace to make our lives easier and the quality of life in the streets better. Sergi Fagios, what are the solutions that could help citizens face the challenges they face when it comes to digitalization of urban mobility?
Hello, Jezebel. Of course. The marketplace contains several solutions that aim to serve the city-to-citizen interaction. For example, Rapid makes it easier for cities to consider requests and suggestions in urban planning that come directly from citizens. The solution allows you to create 3D models of the built environment. You can then test citizen suggestions by changing that model. Using AI, you can also predict the behavior of cyclists, pedestrians, car drivers, etc. within that new environment. Another solution would be Nudged, which is a mobile application that aims to help citizens in transitioning to more sustainable mobility. Many of us would like our day-to-day travel to be more sustainable, and Nudged can help you do just that. Using techniques from behavioral science, Nudged helps you in changing your day-to-day habits into becoming more sustainable. City councils can adapt Nudge to their particular urban areas in order to recommend the best way of moving in their region. They can then offer Nudge to their citizens in order to promote sustainable mobility. These solutions and many more are readily available on the Mobility Innovation Marketplace. You can also find best practices and key insights on how to bring innovation to cities to directly improve citizens' lives.
In our section Partner of the Month, on this occasion, we will learn more about Factual. Based in Barcelona, but with a genuine local mindset, Factual is a 4-site boutique innovation consultancy specialized in all things mobility. For that, I'm happy to be today with Marc Figuls, managing partner of Factual. Marc, welcome.
Hello, Isabel. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Marc, can you tell us what is the relationship between Factual and EIT Urban Mobility so far?
The relationship of Factual and EIT Urban Mobility have some parallels. Factual was born in 2018, the same year as Barcelona was selected for launching the KIC for urban mobility, and we define Factual as a foresight and innovation firm committed to transforming mobility. So yeah, I think that we have many aspects in common. Hence, we started the collaboration very soon with a couple of innovation projects where Factual was involved as a partner, and both ended with a commercialization agreement between both entities. But the relationship is not only focused on the innovation area, but also with the academy side. As you said, we have developed together the mobility digitalization training here in Barcelona, and also the planning for autonomous mobility and online training in this case. Finally, both Factual and EIT Urban Mobility are shareholders of NEMI, the on-demand transport platform. In addition, there is a more intangible collaboration. I think that when Factual organize workshops such as the yearly Micromobility Week, the presentation of the study of the mobility as a service here in Catalonia, we always try to invite you and also to actively participate in the EIT events such as the AAG sessions, the mobility talks, also the innovation workshops and so on.
I'm aware of that you've been quite intensively working with the different projects. What major milestones would you highlight of your work with us?
Indeed, we have made a lot of work and achieved good results. In particular, a couple of marketed innovations. From one side, the first corporate on-demand transport application, and from the other side, a demand-responsive transit tool, both added in our portfolio of innovative mobility services in a go-to-market stage. However, we feel that the best is yet to come. As Factual is coordinating two innovation projects this year, Clean Energy for Micromobility from the Energy Mobility Call, and Slots from the City Logistics Call, both with excellent consortiums and promising outputs in terms of improving urban mobility, but also, and it's very important, with regards to the social impact. And the same with the EIT Urban Mobility Academy. The main goals of this year are to scale the mobility digitalization training to other cities and successfully develop the disrupting mass training, where Factual is involved as a coordinator. Last but not least, we value a lot that through the EIT Urban Mobility projects, we have cooperated hand in hand with a number of leading entities in the mobility innovation landscape, such as research centers, very important cities, having the opportunity to pilot innovative mobility solutions around Europe.
Mark Fuels, managing partner of Factual, thanks a lot for being with us today. Our partners are indeed high contributors to the solutions we are bringing to the society, and they are helping us a lot to satisfy the needs of citizens. How? Running projects funded by the EIT Urban Mobility, like MultiDepart, the project of the month. MultiDepart is a multi-operator tool for managing demand-responsive transport. It develops tools to plan, manage, and monitor DRT solutions. Applied in Lisbon, the Barcelona metropolitan area, and Thessaloniki, MultiDepart is targeting public transport authorities and facilitating the harmonization and scalability of DRT services across European cities. To learn more about this project, I'm very happy to welcome José María Salanova from Third. José María, welcome.
Thank you.
José María, MultiDepart is mainly about easing and making transport more efficient. But what are the main challenges it is facing?
MultiDepart is about DRT services. DRT services are flexible public transport services that have been designed to work optimally in low-demand areas. So the challenges that we are facing in the project is to be able to understand what are these areas, how we can identify these areas, and once we know that the DRT services will work on an area, what is the layout of the service, meaning how many stops, what's the frequency, what's the operation type of the system, what is the size of the vehicles. So MultiDepart is giving an answer to all these questions. Of course, these challenges for us are technical, but for the city are operational challenges in the sense that they need to deploy these services in the city. So we are helping the city authorities by giving them a tool that can answer all these questions for them. So where to implement and how to do it. Additionally, we are having a dashboard that will allow the city managers to monitor different DRT lines from different providers under the same umbrella.
In a nutshell, what would you say is the main societal impact of MultiDepart? How is it contributing to make cities more livable and improving citizens' quality of life?
The benefits of DRT services are clear. On the one side, we have the customers. The customers will have a service which is more flexible, so it can be adapted both in time and space. This means that the accessibility to the service will be increased. Many DRT services are door-to-door, so there is no need to go to any stop. But also, in the time dimension, these kind of services are more adapted to the real demand. On the other side, for the operator, these services are much cheaper because they adapt the supply to the demand. They adapt the kilometers driven to the real needs of the users, so less empty seat kilometers will be in our network.
And finally, what are the next steps for MultiDepart? What is in the pipeline?
So, MultiDepart is coming to an end in a few weeks, so the next steps is, of course, being an EIT project, is to commercialize the output. In the project, we had two outputs. We had the dashboard, which will facilitate the cities in monitoring DRT services, and we had the tool that will help the cities in defining where and how to implement. So these two outputs will be commercialized by the different commercial partners of the project from now on. Ourselves, as a research center, we will exploit our work mostly in terms of publications of the scientific journals about the algorithms we have developed in the project.
Jose Maria Zalanova, thanks a lot for being with us today. And to close this video blog of the month, let's talk about business. Along with the benefits of new mobility solutions, cities face growing challenges as they integrate fast-developing modes of transportation. In here, startups are key players. That's why, in our section of the Startup of the Month, we will learn more about Vianova. Vianova is the leading platform for managing connected and shared mobility in the urban public realm. The company's technology helps cities and mobility operators better collaborate and communicate to foster more livable and breathable streets. How? Let's have a look.
So my name is Thibaut Castagne. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vianova, which is a Paris-based startup, and we are a leading mobility intelligence platform aggregating data from shared mobility operators, mobility on demand, connected vehicles, and logistics services. So the relationship between EIT and Vianova, so we're part of the accelerator program of EIT Urban Mobility for like almost a year now. They're also an investor in our company. So we actually did 2 fundraising already, one that they participated in, and they actually also support us in pilot projects. So we have worked, we have a contract with Milan, city of Milan, as well as the city of Istanbul, and both were facilitated through EIT Urban Mobility. So Vianova, we were essentially focusing on shared mobility before. We are the largest aggregator and we work already with 40 cities in Europe. And we're trying now to provide more use cases through the intelligence of Vianova using other kinds of data, specifically from individual cars for traffic management and road safety, but also for delivery management. So we see that last mile delivery has a lot of impact in cities. The big opportunity is using the data for measuring this impact and managing parking. So we're helping and supporting cities for that. And the growth is international growth, so we actually with this new fundraising that we did actually in the last 2 weeks, we closed very recently. We will actually use this money for our growth in the US.
And that was all for this month and about digitalization in urban mobility. Next month, more. But in the meantime, I would like to share with you some very interesting news. We just launched our call for proposals for the business plan 2023-2025 on innovation. Scan the QR code on screen for more information and submit your proposal. And stay tuned, Business Creation will launch the Accelerator Program call for proposals in the coming days. And if you want to have a say in the upcoming call for proposals on Academy, the QR code on screen gives you that opportunity. If you like this video blog, remember to like it in the thumbs up below and follow us to stay tuned in the upcoming news. Next month, we will talk about urban mobility and gender equality. See you soon!